It is time for a best of 3 series of top level StarCraft 2. What I've got for you today is a Terran versus Zerg. We're in the bottom left hand corner. We have everybody's favorite retired pro gamer playing with the blue Zerg drones. We're looking inside of the main base of Dark. I don't know when he's going to the military, okay? I have no idea. Supposedly 2 years ago. Nobody knows. His opponent in the top right, playing with the red Terran SCVs. He goes by the name of Bunny. If I'm not mistaken, Bunny has already done his... I should have probably looked this up. I think he's already done his military service. Does it say it on his... No. Maybe. Generally speaking, on Liquipedia, there is a little tab in the player information section that shows whether or not a player has done their military service. But for Bunny, it is not there. So I'm guessing he hasn't? I'm not exactly sure. Anyways, Starchild is going to be map number 1 in this best of 3. And let's find out exactly what ended up going down. I was looking, by the way, for a Zerg versus Terran to go ahead and cast. There are very few. Maybe if you only ever watch my casts, you would imagine there's an even amount for every matchup, but that is not entirely the case. I swear every replay pack that I get right now is about, I want to say, without exaggeration, about 90% Protoss and Terran. It is so much PvT, so much PvP, a little bit of TvT in there too. But there are so many Protoss players right now competing in the online cups. Zerg players seem to be going extinct. So I'm hoping at the very least that Dark is gonna be able to delay his military service for like another year or so. Let's see how it goes, because I think we would all be better for it. Anyway, no idea what ended up going down in this particular series. Nobody has recommended this particular match to me, but we can have a look. Genuinely, there's not a lot of ZVTs. It's actually a little bit sad. Anyway, command center on the low ground here for Bunny. It's going to be a Reaper into a good old Marine. Factory on the back of this too. It is always interesting though, like whenever a race is underrepresented, especially in tournaments, you would imagine that therefore the race is too weak, right? Like that's generally the line of thinking. If there is a race that like is only played by like maybe 20% of players at the highest level, I mean, you would imagine that's a little bit of a balance problem. Oh, he gets a drone. Sloppy here from Dark. However, the absolute very best players in the world, quite a few of them play Zerg. So, if you look at actual tournament winners, this little guy from Finland, huh? He keeps on popping up. And he keeps on winning tournaments. Makes the whole game a little bit tricky to really judge. Imagine if Cyril, when he first started playing StarCraft 2, decided to pick Protoss instead. Do you think we would have been in a very similar spot, but then, you know, Zerg would have overpopulated tournaments? I have no idea. It's one of the tricky parts about RTS games, though. When you try to balance around the absolute top level, you end up in a situation like this. Is it the player? Is it the race? Is it the maps? It's really hard to say. This is solvable, by the way, in a couple of ways. First off, we could force everybody to play random. Everybody forced to play random. Yes, that would... Yeah, okay, maybe that would not be great. I mean, it'd be kind of fun. StarCraft's not really designed for that, but... Alternatively, and this is something I see all the time, like requested on the forums and on Reddit and in YouTube comments and all that, people say that like, hey, they should balance StarCraft 2 for every level. I find that a very cool idea, but also entirely unrealistic. Like, you can't properly balance the game for Grandmaster League, for Bronze League, and for the absolute highest level at the same time. You can't. You could do a different balance for each of the MMR brackets, but I think that's also very bad, because then you just end up in non-stop balance widening. And I mean, one of the beautiful things about StarCraft in my mind is the simplicity. Like, the game is easy to digest when you look at it, right? So if we just start adding a lot of asterisks to everything, I don't think that's a good idea. So ultimately, how do you balance a game? Well, you would like to be balanced for every level, but that's just unrealistic. And I guess your next best shot is to try to balance the absolute highest level, which is, I guess, the most important part of the game, because that's where the tournaments are played. But now you end up in a situation where I mean, I don't want to put this all on Serral, but Serral, in my mind, is like 80% responsible for all of the Zerg nerfs over like the last 7 years. It has been quite the interesting segment of Legacy of the Void. Anyway, Baneling Nest coming up here. Lair just about to finish as well. Double evolution chamber in the main base. Dark decides to cancel the Spore Crawler. Maybe a little bit concerned for any sort of early game aggression here from Bunny, but Bunny has decided to go for the double medevac production here. So this is a triple command center built for Bunny into good old marine pressure. Okay, let's see. He wants to try and see if he can get a snipe over here on the 4th hatchery of the Zerg. Not gonna happen. He does kill a couple of Overlords. Not a bad start here, honestly. Bunny has been impressing me, by the way, as of late. I've been looking at quite a few of Bunny's games, and he's been playing some very aggressive StarCraft. Opening up with the norm, right? So what he's doing over here, nothing a whole lot of the ordinary. But look, for example, the positioning here on the barracks, not quite normal. That's not usually what you do. So like the first 5-6 minutes that he plays, generally very standard. And then after that, he's like, okay, perfect. Today, we dine in hell, and we just keep fighting and fighting and fighting. Armory coming up as well in an exposed location, but it's going to allow him to go straight into 2-2. For some reason, the armor upgrade is a little bit late. Not exactly sure what that is all about. Burrow coming up here as well for Dark. So he is ready to start burrowing some banelings around the map, I suppose. I mean, it is one way to stop Terrans in their tracks. He's, of course, well aware of the fact that Bunny is a very momentum-based player. Or at least that's usually the style he likes to go for. So if you can burrow a bunch of Banes and just stop the Terran player from ever attacking, I mean, that is one way to swing the momentum in your own favor. Dark doesn't really want to fight here until 1-1 is done. It's still maybe 20-ish seconds away. Hatchery, though, already took a bit of a bruising from that previous attack, and I think if Bunny commits to it, he can actually put in a bit of work. A couple of Banelings here did roll into the natural, but not achieving much, and Dark decides to smartly give up on this expansion. He's already building another hatchery down south. That's where those drones are headed to right now. They're gonna try and see if they can live to mine another day. Bunny, though, probably should go home. I think he probably should. Will he, though? That's the real question. He never finished up the... Wait, is he making the... Where's the second factory? Okay, it's right over here. The Zerglings and the Banelings there. They, yeah, killed the SCV. He never actually finished it. Ultra Cavern here. Very quick Ultra Cavern. This is a pre-8-minute Ultra Cavern rush. That was like, what, 7:58 on the Ultra Cavern timing? Okay. Not necessarily the fastest possible Ultra, but at this level of StarCraft, that is really quite quick. Ultras are excellent until Terran goes up to, well, for example, Ghosts and Liberators. But if Bunny is going to be aggressive the entire time through, it can be difficult for Terrans to make that call. So he did go for the 4th command center. He did start up barracks 6, 7, and 8. There are a bunch of Lings and Banes following around a few more medevacs. At this point, all that Bunny has seen is Zerglings, Banelings, and Queens. There is no Hydras, there's nothing. So you would imagine that at some point you do grow little tech labs on top of these barracks over here and make a Ghost Academy. Because when there's smoke, there's generally fire. Chitinous plating coming up. That is the armor upgrade for Ultras. Together with +2 armor, I think they're going to finish up roughly around the same time. Those Ultras are going to be very beefy units. There is indeed tech labs. We need to go for the Ghost Academy. When Zerg doesn't go for any sort of Hydras, you can almost expect the Ultras to be quick. Ghost Academy is really not that expensive. Planetary Fortress starts up over here on the low ground, but it'll be difficult to actually finish that, although we have a bunch of Marines going around the side. Banelings? Oh no, those are Zerglings. Woo! If those would have been Banelings burrowed underground there, that would have been really strong. More Lings, though, being an absolute nuisance, and the clock is ticking. I still do not see an easy counter here against Ultras. We only have 2 of them out right now, 2 more coming. They do need to wait, though, until that upgrade is finished. Planetary, lift it! Oh, God, okay. Planetary gets right-clicked on. Ultras decide to engage before Chitin is plating. You really don't want to roll Banelings into siege tanks, but... Suddenly, oh, God. Bunny is completely falling apart. He should have, of course, cancelled the Planetary, lifted it up. You should never lose, well, a command center when it can fly still. Yeah, to a bunch of Zerglings, and now he's rebuilding it on location too. Way too ambitious for my liking. Ultras coming around the site. Ooh, we have an Ultra flank. And look how beefy that unit is when it does have the armor upgrade done. Still though, Buddy making the best of a bad scenario. The problem is that wasn't the entirety of the Zerg army. Bunny has been losing a lot of SCVs during all of this. And the amount of scans that he's been using to get rid of all of those burrowed Zerglings and Banelings has actually been quite staggering. I think he must have been spending about half of the energy on the orbitals over the last few minutes, just trying to get rid of all those pesky Zerglings everywhere. And now I guess he's accidentally transformed his army into an all-in. I mean, he was meant to play a triple CC early into a quick 4th command center on the back of it. Now we're effectively playing a 3CC 8 Rex all-in, which is a very common build. It's just now quite late relative to where it normally would be. He does have a bunch of Marauders in the mix, but absolutely no easy counter here to the Ultras. Infestor's also coming, by the way. Widow Mines, okay, decent splitties there by the Zerg, but that was not a bad exchange for Bunny, who now grabs the supply lead because of it. Fungal! Oh my God, that Fungal was big. We have a follow-up Fungal there as well, slowing down the retreat of those medevacs. Whew, okay. Infestors and Ultras. I mean, both of those units are countered by Ghosts. Can we do a splitty? No splitty? Ugly. We lose a lot of units. Both of those units are countered by Ghosts, but in this situation, Bunny does not feel like he can make the transition towards Ghosts. Queens. Okay, that's 4 of them going down to a little hit squad of Terran units, but ultimately, if Dark doesn't have enough Larva at this stage in the game to produce Ling Bane, he will just make more Ultras. And this is one of the few spots, I know I've been joking a lot about Ultras over the last few months, but this is one of the few situations where Ultras are actually insanely good. 3-3 is just about to finish up though for Bunny. Do we have another Fungal Growth? Do we have energy? I don't think so, no. We're about a half minute away, a little less than that, from another Infestor with Fungal, although maybe the one in the front? This one does have it. This one does have it, he's hunting. Okay, good stutter step there by Bunny. Kiting the army backwards. They cannot cast Fungal Growth while burrowed. But this is also not a situation where Bunny... Oh, I mean, he went for a lucky scan over there. He can really scan for everything. Infestor is waiting. He can't see it. Oh, God. Oh, good scan. Great scan. That could have been a disaster. 2 more Infestors off to the site, though. Oh, here we go, here we go. Oh, one more. Oh, you had the energy for it, but I don't think he used it. Ultra's trying to desperately chomp their way through everything. They still kind of die, but... Oh, dude, even in the best case scenario, Ultras are a questionable unit. But anyways, it's... 3-3 had just kicked in, though. Dark did not go for the quick +3 Carapace, which I think he should have done, rather than the +3 melee. Ultimately, there's just not enough stuff here for Bunny. Game number 1 goes in favor of the Zerg. Next up, we find ourselves on Ultralove. And I hate to break it to you all. The player in blue spawned on the red side of the map. The player in red spawned on the blue side of the map. Maybe it's not that bad, though. Maybe this is like the yin-yang situation all over again. We get a little bit of red on the blue and a little bit of blue on the red. But I feel like ever since I had somebody point this out to me, it is the only thing I can see. Yeah, it's a little bit cursed. But anyways, Ultralove though, other than that, excellent map. I don't think we really... I should look it up before I make any claims. I don't think we have a lot of racial imbalances on this map. Actually, I'll take it back. Apparently, this map is quite a bit better for Zerg. Currently, it has a win rate of about 54%. Yeah, 54. No, hold up. Okay, so against Protoss, this is kind of interesting. Against Protoss, this map for Zerg has a 54% win rate in favor of Zerg. In Zerg versus Terran, however, it is a 54% advantage in favor of Terran. So out of the 101 tournament games that have been played on this map and that have been logged into the Team Liquid statistics, 54% of those maps went in favor of the Terran. Yeah, I gotta take it with a grain of salt. That sample size is relatively small. And honestly, even though you can enter every single tournament result into a map, like into a statistic like that, not to be a jerk to like tournament players or whatever, but like the different levels within tournament play is also very significant. Like anybody can sign up for a tournament. Like you could play in a tournament if you wanted to. But you're probably not gonna be as good at Terran as, for example, Klim. I mean, maybe you are Klim. No, I highly doubt it. If so, bonjour. Thank you very much. Please hit the like button, Klim. Appreciate you. Actually, you can also hit the like button if you're not Klim. Normally you can't, but this time around, I will allow it. All right, let's see. Command center on the low ground. Factory inside of the main base. Reactor. There it is. Or as Clem likes to call it, a reactor. I don't know what they call reactors in France. Ooh, SCV gets killed. Oh, and that was a little bit of an unfortunate exchange there for Bunny. He was hoping that it was going to work out a little bit better than that. But ultimately, he loses the scouting SCV. A lot of mining time. Did not kill the drone. And the third base wasn't really delayed that much. Brenda. Don't do it, okay? Don't walk too far off the creep. Brenda, by the way, has a lot of spines. In this particular skin of the Zerg, they have a lot of, like... I mean, I don't want to look at Brenda's butt for too long, but... it's very spiky. What are you doing to Brenda, Dark? He's waiting for energy. Right now! Go! There you go. Alright, Reaper goes back into the main base. Threw a grenade. Mostly just checking if there's like something weird going on. Is there a lair already building? Do you see a roach warren, a baneling nest? Anything odd? Not quite the case. Actually, Dark is playing with a whole bunch of skins on. Interesting. Was he playing with skins on in the previous game? He must have been. Yeah. Most of the pro games actually, most of the pro gamers in general, don't use any skins. Maybe he always runs them. I've never actually checked for it. Skins are nice and all. Until you play a ladder game and you go up against a dude who didn't even bother changing his portrait. You know, like you can just change your portrait from the first time you log into the game. But the guy who doesn't really have a real username with the Kaczynski portrait and no skins, ooh, that is the most terrifying opponent to go up against. Hellions joining into fray now, though. Ooh, Queen is a little exposed, but not enough damage here. One of the Hellions goes far forward. Okay, kills a drone. Not bad there, honestly, by Bunny. Oh, gets a creep tumor, too. Roach Warren here for Dark this time around. Let's see. A little bit of variety. A lot of Zerg players lately have been going for roaches. Not because they necessarily like roaches in the long run, but it's a nice way to create some early and mid-game stability. So roaches are very much so considered to be a stepping stone. But you can effectively punish a lot of those Terran timing attacks. There's quite a few on this map that Terrans can execute, and if you get a few Ravagers in the mix, a lot of those pesky siege tank spots can be denied. Hellions getting a bit of a touch-up, at least the ones that made it home. Bunny did go, of course, for the quick third command center. Additional barracks coming up. Double engineering bay in the back of the main mineral line. In the meantime, on the other side of the map, we have 2 Evo chambers. For some reason... Aw, that's kind of cute. Each of the bases of the Zerg gets 1. Except for the third. Screw you, nobody likes you. But... why are we... Why? Nobody knows why. But we're going missile together with Carapace here. Fair enough. I guess if we lose one of the 2 Evos, at least it's not the end of the world. Missile, though, does kind of force Zerg into a specific playstyle. So when you go into Missile, usually you also want to go into Hydras and then into Lurkers, because all of those units benefit from the same upgrade. Not necessarily the case. It's actually quite common to be playing Roaches and then play melee upgrades with it. Alternatively, of course, with this type of army, you can just do a big Roach timing attack. And Roach timing attacks, even though they're not very meta, they're still scary. Like, if you hit your opponent in the face with a good number of Roaches, they can deal a lot of damage. Still, though, Dark is not really going for an all-in setup like that, I don't think. Judging by the fact that he's got the 4th base here. He needs to start up a Roach speed. Dark? This is looking to me like he wants to go for a Roach speed timing with 1-1, but he just didn't go for Roach speed. He's making a ton of Overlords right now, too, in preparation of, I think, more Roaches. But he never went for Roach speed. So if you don't go Roach speed, you can't do a Roach speed timing attack, believe it or not. Kind of has it in the name. Oh, no. Oh, no, Dark. Oh, now he sees it. Well, what do we do now? Infestation Pit, Zergling speed, go Hive? Or do we double down on our mistakes? I like it. Yeah, doubling down on my mistakes is something I like to do a lot too. Now suddenly the attack hits way later, but I guess it's gonna be with a maxed out army? Ugh. Alright, in the meantime, Bunny is just chilling. Obviously, Bunny here at this point is anticipating a Roach speed timing attack. Yeah, so... he's preparing for an attack that isn't coming. At least not yet. I think this is Dark just trying to be relatable to the common man. Yeah, I always like it when artificial intelligence pretends to be human, you know? It's really nice to see. When they say please and thank you and all that, and they forget Roach speed, it's really nice to see. Infestation Pit is coming up. 4th Command Center now awkwardly building for Bunny. So if you're Bunny right now, you're like, hey, I thought we were going Roach timing. What do we... Well, I guess I'll make a 4th Command Center and 2-2 and all the rest of it. Turns out, though, there is still a tremendous Roach army. And turns out Dark also really doesn't want to have a 200 supply Roach army, so... I feel like this is the best fight Dark can hope for. Although, the siege tanks are already sieged up. Oh, God. Corrosive Biles do go down. Yeah, this is a pretty good fight here for the Zerg, right? I think this is about the best case scenario. He's remaxing with Roaches, which I really don't like. Oh, God, why am I making more Roaches? We should definitely be making Lings at this point. So wait, now we've made the now we're kind of stuck playing the same thing again. Hive coming up. I don't think he's going to be able to win the game by counterattacking. Maybe. He's got more Roaches coming across. Siege Tank is very important. Bunny, of course, has quite a bit of production. SCVs are pulled away. Marines, though, are powerful. Man with gun, good. Dark actually just doubling down. He is finishing up 2-2 in the relatively near future. Likewise, though, a bit after that, Bunny is going to be finishing up his own 2-2. Now, the heroes from the previous game, the Infestors, usually much better with Ultras, but they can still work out in this kind of situation, too. They are also building. And again, Bunny does not really find himself in a spot where he can easily go into a Ghost Academy just yet. Then again, there is one thing that he does have in this match now, and that is a 4th Command Center. In the previous game, he made a Planetary Fortress, didn't cancel it, lost it against Zerglings. A little messy, but he is going to be able to now, hopefully, morph in a secondary attempt at a 4th base with a Planetary Fortress. Empty medevac drop, pretending to go to the main base. I always quite like it. A lot of Zerglings dying over here. Yeah. You mad, bro? How mad are you right now, bro? Look at the entire Zerg army trying to chase down an empty medevac drop. Oh no, Ultra Cavern coming up. Couple of transfuses here on the few Roaches that was tanking this. Oh god, okay. Quite a few quite a few of the Ravagers rather do end up going down. Planetary Fortress is here. Bunny needs to continue the SCV production. He stopped doing that a little while ago. He's been very focused on microing on the other side of the map. Tech Lab's coming up. We need a an 8th barracks, and then also a Ghost Academy. I mean, we're going to end up in a very similar spot. There's the extra barracks. We're going to end up in a very similar spot as the previous game, even though this is a much more convoluted way in getting there. But, oh, another big fungal in the middle of the map. Oi, oi, oi. Okay, that was a really good fight here for Dark. Do we have another one? Sure. Yeah, Zerg players love having fungal growth. If I go to the doctor with it, I mean, I'd be a little bit ashamed, but Zergs in general, they don't care. Doctor, it happened again. Anyways, we end up in a situation where Ultras are a very real possibility. I don't generally like Ultras, but we don't have a Ghost Academy here. We don't have a second starport. A lot of Terran players at the highest level lately have been, for some reason, they have been skipping Ghosts. Now imagine having a unit that counters literally every single late game unit that Zerg has, and then not making it for some reason, just because it's a little bit more supply heavy, I suppose. Just because it's more supply heavy means that you can make a few less. It doesn't mean that you should make 0. It kind of blows my mind. We've been seeing this a lot over the last 3-4 months or so, where Terrans just stop making ghosts altogether. They're all doing that Beyond thing where we just skip it. We just skip going into any proper late game like counters. Ultras are gonna hit like a truck here. Fungal Growth together with Ultras. I mean, I'm a little bit scared here for Buddy. There's a good chance that we will see a repeat of game number 1. Where are the Infestors at this point? There's only one Ultra. Oh, look, there's a little Ultra skin as well. There's one Infestor. Okay, maybe I shouldn't overhype it. Siege tank helping out there with the SCV killing. Come on, man. We have all the money to make a Ghost Academy. Why not? Okay. I mean, pretty good splits here on the Terran army. Don't get me wrong. These are very awkward fights. Oh, another Fungal Growth right there on the rest of that unit. Fights happening all over the place now. And I think all of them are good enough traits here for Dark, who ultimately does have the eco advantage. He's now also getting rid of his final roaches, and he's replacing the roaches with more Ultras. He's been so annoying with the freaking burrow upgrade, man. Yeah, when there's smoke, there's fire. Like, when you've seen one Ultra, like, Ultras don't come in singulars, okay? I mean, you can make one at a time, but there's never really going to be only one Ultra in a game of StarCraft. So Bunny should know 100% that there are more Ultras coming. He's just not respecting them at all. He's just gonna play more Tier 1 units. And he's hoping he's gonna be able to counter the Tier 3 units. I wish him good luck. One Ultra counterattack. Chomp, 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 chomp. He doesn't care about concussive shells, by the way, but I thought this... Burrow! Burrow! Of course he burrows. Oh my god, he wasn't paying attention. He hasn't seen the carcass of the unit, though, so he doesn't know if it's there. Anyways, big Zergling counterattack now to try and save the one Ultra. Saving Private Ultra. There he is again. Alright, well, it was a good attempt. I don't think that was killed, or that was worth killing 3 SCVs for, but fair enough. Dude, he had all of his brothers on the high ground. Why didn't they join in? Yeah, so Bunny is kind of stuck on this, like, never-ending mid-game. He's playing Marine Marauder Medevac Tank, and that's all he's playing. We're not making a switch to anything else. And I would actually say that Terran probably has the best late game in StarCraft 2 right now. I mean, maybe it's Protoss. I don't think it's Zerg. But it seems a bit silly. So either you go Liberators or you go Ghosts. But if you go neither, and you just cross your fingers and hope Zerg doesn't fungal you, I mean, it just doesn't seem like the way to play. Well, Infestors are once more here. There's only 2 of them, but you only need 1 fungal. A Zergling Baneling Ultra counterattack in the meantime on the other side of the map. Dark runs away again. Orbital Command is currently burning down, but SCVs can repair it. +3 melee coming up. It's a slow +3 melee, because he obviously started up this game going up to +2 missile. So those upgrades in general are very late. I mean, Bunny's army is huge. I want to be a believer of this Terran army, but I don't know. I've seen these type of games many times. Like, we're like one bad engagement away from this being an absolute disaster. Dark can continuously reinforce this, and Bunny is just going to kind of fizzling out. Ultras are being used as Zerglings now on the other side of the map. In retaliation, he can maybe kill a hatchery if he's lucky, but I mean, it's not really justifying losing an entire base for. And a bunch of reinforcing troops as well. Okay. Bunny is going to be forced to step onto creep, and that's exactly what he does now. He can't really continuously fight off creep, so Zerg is going to pull the trigger at some point. These Ultras, by the way, from the other side of the map have now joined in, so the entirety of this 120-something supply army for Zerg is now present right over here. Fight, though, is going to take place at least partially off creep. Terran army kind of stuck against the wall, and massive fungal growths! Just like in game number 1, blanket about half of the Terran army. I mean, it was always going to happen. It was always going to happen. I don't even know what the game plan is here. You can cross your fingers and hope Zerg is AFK, but it doesn't just... it doesn't make any sense. Alright. So we do more of the same. We do more of the same. I mean, he catches a bunch of the banelings here that are morphing in. Dark, though, still maxed out. Darren is 100% fizzling out at this point. Queens have been used, by the way, to heal the Ultras back up to full, at least the ones that stayed alive. I think we're going to try and rinse and repeat. Oh my god, those Ultras just popped out of the final larva there. Yep, we do another fight in the exact same spot. Do we have any Infestors? No, all of them have died at this point in time. But Ultras are just chomping their way through everything. Marines and Marauders are trying to kite. They're trying to see if they can continuously outrun those units, but at some point, they will run out of space. GG.